Alright, scissors again guys. It is another unboxing video and today we don't have live animals like yesterday and we don't have plants like the day before. Instead we have this heavy ass box that I need to open and I will show you what is inside. Let's just say it is my first foray into using this medium in Australia. So I think I grabbed this off, I think I ended up finding it cheapest on eBay. And it is LECHUZA PON, and I got the 18 kilo bag because I have a feeling I'm gonna like this stuff for semi-hydro. So, nice little box here, might keep that for later. You got kids, you got plants, you got cats, you know that a box is gonna come in handy, right? There's always gonna be something you can do with it. Don't just chuck it out. Anyway, so I grabbed the LECHUZA PON. I've seen people ranting and raving about this overseas, particularly the girls from the channels You Don't Even Grow Here, so that's Alice and Charmaine on Unplant Parenthood. Go check them out. They are really fun to watch. I really enjoy their banter. They also hang out together quite often and do coupled videos where they, will do Q&As or muck around. They're really funny. Anyway, so they are very, very, what would you say, strong proponents of using PON for their semi-hydro. In fact, I think they use Chunky Aeroid Mix and PON almost exclusively. I don't think they do anything in LECHA, at least not that I've seen. And I think they used to have plants that they would put in moss, but they have moved away from that because they find it a massive pain in the ass to pull the moss away from the roots when you want to transfer them. Anyway, so try to find this here in Australia. It is not easy to find, guys. There aren't stores, at least, that I have found locally where I can just walk in and purchase this. It tends to have to be online. So Bunnings doesn't have it. Nurseries tend to not have it. Again, if I'm wrong and you know of a place nearby, near Geelong or Melbourne, let me know because I'm curious. But I am yet to see this in a store anywhere, even the hydroponic stores. So I had to go online. I think I got this for, it would have been $118. And postage was included. That was the cheapest I could find it here in Australia, which is why I also went for the largest bag. I think you can get it in like 6, 12, and 18 litres. I'm not sure if you can go smaller than that. You probably can. But because of the price, I was just like, I'm just gonna get a big bag because if I get a small bag and I really like it, which I think I will, based on the reviews that I've seen out there from other people ranting and raving about this, I'll be buying more and yeah, it's just gonna be best value for money to get a large bag to begin with. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm trying to think of what kind of plant that I can chuck in here. I've got quite a few things in LECHA that we could potentially take out and pot up again just to give PON a whirl. Now, for those of you who don't know, and it's covered in so many different languages, describing what it is, that it makes it hard to find the English. I don't know if the English is on the front or at the top here. What do we got? We got Greek. It looks like Russian. There's a whole bunch of different languages. Where's the English? German. Here we go. I found it. Dead center on the back. It's this one by the looks of it. So let's have a little look here. LECHUZA PON culture substrate for indoor and outdoor potted plants. It is the perfect alternative to conventional potting soil. It is structurally stable, supports root aeration, and perfectly controls the water supply. Now, the basic materials are pumice, lava, zeolite, and fertilizer. Zeolite, from what I understand, and I should just put the description up online, but it's sort of similar to perlite in that it's kind of like a very light, porous rock, similar to pumice and lava rock, obviously, that you can use to have an airy mix. I think zeolite might have minerals in it. Again, Pete, just shut up and put the stuff down below. Tell them what's in it. So, instructions for proper use. Use only for soil-independent cultivation methods. Contains boron, copper, and zinc in amounts suitable for plant cultivation. Substrate is designed for use in planters. The declared nutrient levels refer to the total amount of nutrients added to the substrate as fully encapsulated fertilizer at the time of filling. Nutrients may be released from the fully encapsulated fertilizer when stored for longer periods in conjunction with moisture. Store out of reach of children and adults. Animals. Jesus, it's getting late. Can't have this anywhere near adults. Luckily, I am a donkey, so it's fine. All right, so yeah, it's really interesting. This must be German. Yeah, I think it must be because it's got a little German coloured symbol here. And the other thing that kind of gives it away is the fact that everything on the front of it seems to be in German. So, a genius here, right? Genius. Yeah, okay. What does it say here? Let's see if I can read it. I wouldn't even know how to pronounce it in German. LECHUZA PON, Mineraliches. I can't do it. I'm just butchering it. I'm sorry to anyone who speaks German. Forget it. Let's just forget it. All right. Does it have a seal at the top here? Doesn't feel like it. I'm going to open it up and give you guys a look. Feels like just a big bag of dog food, to be honest. Maybe a bit heavier. It's got chows. Imagine that, you open it, it's just chows. Oh, I didn't realize I could use this as an inert substrate for, for semi-hydro. That's going to be cheap. Okay, so apparently you're meant to give this a decent rinse. I'm going to grab a fistful of it out here and make a huge mess on the table. But here is what it looks like. It's kind of really small, granulated, rocks, I guess. I can see some of those slow-release fertilizer capsules in there, those orange things. I'm not sure if you can see one. There's one about here on my hand. And then, I can see the pumice, the zeolite, and lava rock. So, cool. I'm looking forward to having plants in here. I think the first thing that you need to do is rinse this and get rid of all the sand. I can feel a heap of sand on my hands. Obviously, little bits breaking off the rocks as they are in the bag. And then, I guess I will try and find a plant or two that we can pot up in this and see how it goes. I think it's not too bad with pH going up or down. I think it's relatively inert. I'm not sure if it acts as a buffer or not, but I think you just use your standard nutrient solution that's pH balanced to between 5.5 and 6.5 for semi-hydro or hydro, and it should be sweet and good to go. So yes, I'm going to give some a rinse, get rid of this sand, as you can see here, and then we will work out what plants to pot up. Okay, we're back and I have been just soaking the pon in here whilst doing the dishes, so it's been about 10 minutes. And I think the easiest way to deal with this, because I don't think I can rely on one of the strainers in the sink to hold these tiny pieces out of the drain. I think the easiest way to do this is going to be to use one of these. So the one that I have in the kitchen is now the pon strainer. Now I need something to strain into, or at least to put the clean pon into. So I think, what am I going to do? What's the easiest way of doing this? I guess I can just kind of strain it back into itself. And I'm just going to grab a spoon to do this. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. And just lift this pon up into the strainer till I have a significant amount of it, and then I think just sort of making sure that it's washed and that the sand and small grains have come out. I can probably give it a further rinse and then dump it into the other container that I have here. So I'm going to repeat that process many times and then show you the final result. Okay, so I've spent the last probably half an hour fiddling around with just rinsing the pond back and forth and using a strainer in order to obviously strain the water out and get rid of the sand. Now, I think we're going to pot up this monkey mask Adansonii that I propagated recently using the aeroponic system. I will link that above. But I think I can see a little bit of root rot happening here, although these roots do look like they're sort of having a good time. They're having a good time to some degree, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I thought this guy's probably an easy candidate to take out of leca here and chuck in the pond and see how he goes. So I think what I'm going to do is take the leca out. I'm boiling up some water now to deal with that. I might put the boiling water in this glass as well just to clean it up, just in case there is any fungi or bacteria in there that was problematic. And then I think I might just put the pond back into here and we will see how it goes. So the water has just finished boiling. I'll bring you over here to the sink. Here's the pond that I have rinsed, probably 2 or 3 times. Now I'm just going to gently pour out the leca into a pot that I have here, and we can examine these roots. So I took this plant out of the aeroponics system and put it into leca to see how it would go, and you can see it has had a bit of a rough time. It has suffered from a bit of root rot, and I'm not sure if that is just it acclimating to not being in the aeroponics system anymore, or if that is a problem with the leca. So I think what I'm going to do is just give this a quick trim and get rid of any of the rot that I can see here, and hopefully, you can kind of smell it as well a little bit, hopefully it will recover in the pond. But I think that rotting like this is often a natural part of just how root systems kind of establish themselves. So I'm hoping that this is not too much of a problem and it'll bounce back. But I guess we will see how we go. So these brown tips here actually feel quite firm, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. But I've tried to remove all the other rot. Same thing here. Some of these brown bits actually feel a lot better than they look. So I think we'll just chuck it in like this and just hope for the best. So before we do that, I'm going to take the boiling water and I'm going to hopefully not smash this glass by just pouring the boiling water into the leca. I've got a bunch of leca here from another project that had a bit of root rot, so I'm just going to boil the lot and hopefully kill any root rot bacteria or fungus that is in there. And what I need now, tongs. This will do nicely, and I'm just going to turn this glass container around a few times, like so, just to make sure that the whole thing gets covered. And I'm just going to let that sit for 5 or so minutes to hopefully kill everything that's in there. What I do need to do whilst we're waiting for this to sort of cool down a little bit and do its work is make up some nutrient solutions. So I'm going to go grab my hydroponics nutrient AB solutions and the tannin that I use to deal with fungus gnats, and we'll make up 9 litres here. Obviously not just for this one little plant, but I keep it in these bottles, don't drink. And there's my ratio, 15 ml of A, 15 ml of B, 2 drops of tannin, and then, what does it say at the bottom here? Yeah, 3 litres of H2O, and the pH should be between 5.9 and 6. Don't drink. So I actually measure these out into these jars, so that's A, and that's B. What's the easiest way of doing this? I'm going to put them over here for now. Hopefully you can see what's going on. Probably not if I leave these in the way. So here's my AB solution. I'm going to take A. I just fill these jars up because they're easier to get the syringe into, to syringe volumes out. I can't do it here with this syringe at least. So here we go, fill this one up, the B solution. Okay, easy enough. Now, what you need to do when mixing these is be sure to mix them into water and do so separately. So I'm taking the B solution first because that's the nitrogen, potassium, calcium solution, I think. And I've heard that it's best to put this one in first. So pull some water into the syringe. So I've mixed that B in there. I'm going to take 15 ml of the A, using the water again to mix it up. Put that in there. And then lastly, I take the tannin, you can see here. And these are little crystals that are consumed by the larvae of fungus gnats and cause them to explode alien style through their stomachs. And then I just fill it up to the top, and that's all she wrote. And then if you're worried about it not being completely mixed up, you can obviously just give it a decent shake and bake. So I'm just going to repeat this process. Okay, so here's the stuff that is boiling away. I'm going to chuck my lids on here, got them labelled just in case. So I'll get all this out of the way. I'm going to I'm going to put some cold water in here to cool it down a bit. So let's see, it's still hot, sort of. And I'm going to use the tongs to pull the jar out. Hopefully not breaking it by giving it a bit of a rinse with cooler water. Okay, that's good to go. And the leca, I will just put over here. Give this a rinse. And put this through the dishwasher later on. Okay, I'll deal with you later. So for now, we're going to take this guy and the nutrient solution, and you guys back to the table. Okay. Just having a look here. The base, just making sure that any of the rotting material is gone. I think we're all good. It does look a bit dodgy, but I guess we'll just see how it goes. It does look somewhat pale, but that tends to happen with cutting, so hopefully it'll make it. I guess we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of the pon at the bottom here to create a little reservoir. Hopefully that's all good. And then chuck this guy, and I'm gonna try and put the roots to the side like this, just so that I can see what's going on, so that if it does suffer from rot, I'll be able to hopefully intervene. And I'm just going to spoon the pon into the jar. Not really much to it. Give it a slap. There's a little bit more that can go in there. Okay, so there we go, first ever plant in pon. I can see the roots on the side here, so hopefully I'll be able to keep an eye on those and see them growing healthily in the future, but time will tell. I almost forgot, it might help if I put in the nutrient solution. So I need to do that up to just below where the roots are, obviously. So I'm going to do that right now. Right now. Now, because there's so much liquid in this, I actually do have to bring it to the edge of the table so that I can pour it in safely without making a huge mess, although I just put it down my leg. So we did make a slight mess. Okay, so there we go. Looking good, it's up to about there. Guess we'll see what happens. Wish me luck. If you guys have any advice on how to do pon, please feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you reckon. What have I screwed up? What can I do better? And yeah, I hope to see you in tomorrow's video. And if you haven't checked out all the other December videos, be sure to go and check them out too. See ya.